Hey everyone, good evening. Thank you for joining me on another video. So on my last YouTube video, Mr. Engelhardt has commented that it is helpful for me to share what it's like being a new YouTuber. So today I'll be doing this. For me, it'll be different for everybody, and there are multiple different aspects. It's about what kind of content you will create. It's about what it is that you do. It's about what it is you share. I have a tendency to be as open as I can be. Not so much in big, like at the very first beginning, the very first videos, but that was because I just simply didn't know how to open up yet. I was also not yet comfortable with the camera, so that's probably it as well. Yeah, so for me personally, being a okay, let's try that again. For me personally, being a new YouTuber is absolutely horrifying because I don't really know where the future is gonna be, right? I don't really know how I'm gonna utilize my time in a way of what I want to bring to the table, because I still haven't been able to record all of the book sessions of The Great Gatsby as I was trying to do, which really sucks for me because at this point in time I wish I would have already had all of the videos out there, but it hasn't happened yet, which makes me really sad. But I am working on it as much as I'm able to, but I also need to take breaks because there is so much that I'm doing, like during the day, just routines, but also doing the work in home, and for me it's very stressful. I get very easily stressed. So being a new YouTuber is quite stressful in a way. Not because I don't like it or don't enjoy it. I do, otherwise I wouldn't be here anymore. But being a new YouTuber is like you're putting all of this information about yourself out there, and you don't know whether it's gonna be used against you in the future, right? Because your friends and family could see it at one point. Even if you don't tell them about it, if you get to a certain point where people are looking around that type of content and they finally find you somewhere between them and they're like, I know that face. I mean, there's a lot of things that could be said, that could be viewed. And so that's something that I'm definitely aware about, that everything that I post, every video is out there forever, right? Nothing really gets deleted from the internet. So in that regard, it's difficult, but it's also fun. But my personal struggles are mostly with the ideas for content creation, in a way of I want to make certain videos like this, but I cannot do that yet because I'm not at that level, as well as in editing, right? Because editing is, I believe, a big part of YouTube, at least for those who have been on YouTube for a long time. And I do like editing, but it is a lot of work. It takes at least an hour to edit a video about 5 minutes. At least for me it does. So I haven't been doing that at all. I've only edited a couple of videos in the past, mainly because of how difficult it was. And so yeah, that's basically my real struggle. It's not the views or the thumbnails or whatever, because like I said in the past, like it doesn't really matter to me how many views I get. It doesn't matter to me how fast I grow or whatever. That all will come in its own time, when if it does, right? It's not important to me. yeah, this is turning out to be a very messy video again. Yeah, it's just it's hectic. It's sometimes I don't know what to talk about until the very last minute. When I just sit down, I start the camera, and sometimes it just happens that I just start to talk, and sometimes I'm like, nope, restart, nope, restart, nope, restart. So I would say, especially as a new YouTuber, as somebody who's just starting off, that's what my biggest struggle is: content creation in itself. Just finding what it is that I'm supposed to talk about. And sometimes really when I really don't know, that's when those videos come and pop up, like, you should get a house plant, or this is my watering system, you know, things like that. I mean, they're still videos and they're educational or useful, but they're kind of rushed or last minute because I just don't really know what to talk about at that point. Another thing as a new YouTuber or a beginner YouTuber is something that I realized last week. I got recognized. That was probably the most awkward thing in my life. Yeah, I was on my balcony and somebody from the neighborhood realized that where I was because of the watering system. That's why it popped into my mind. And they were like, I've seen you on YouTube. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, that was the most awkward thing ever. But after a few minutes, it turned out to be a really fun conversation. And she asked about, like, when did you start to use rainwater for the plants instead of water from the tap, right? And I was like, well, I noticed plants weren't doing well. My dad told me that there's a lot of gulk. Forgot the name. I know the name in English. It's just somewhere floating in my brain where it doesn't want to be found right now. But yeah, it's really bad water for the plants, and so I started using rainwater, and the plants were doing so much better, right? They were just coming back to life. And ever since then, I just keep collecting rainwater. What is going on? I'm sorry, it's a very busy night apparently. It's 1:30 a.m. 1:39 a.m. right now. And apparently it's a very busy street tonight. On a Tuesday of all days. Okay. This never happens. This only happens on Fridays or Saturdays. And so I don't really like to film at those days in the middle of the night because of how much traffic is coming by. But yeah. So I think, again, as a beginner YouTuber, it's really awkward. Those first moments when you realize that somebody has recognized you and you're talking to them out there, that's weird. That's really weird. I don't mind it in a way of, I mean, if you like my videos, that's absolutely fine, obviously. But yeah, it is very awkward. It is very awkward to be recognized and to be found by somebody who actually lives in the neighborhood as well. Okay. So that did make me a little bit uncomfortable for about 2 days. I was like, okay. And yeah. So there's that. Another thing is scheduling time. I have this big issue. I think it could be autism related, but I'm not 100% sure. But I get very annoyed when I don't get to film it in time. Sometimes I'm late by half an hour, and I know people think like that's in your normal schedule. Nope, for me it has to be about 2 a.m. the exact 2 a.m. time that I promised, because otherwise it'll bother me, because that's what it's supposed to be. And yeah, that's really crazy. Another funny quirk I have, I was talking to my dad earlier today, and he was like, that's weird. So um sorry, I need to remember the English name for a moment before I start to stutter again. But I sometimes make dishes with paprikas, paprikas or bell peppers in them. And everybody knows bell peppers have a certain amount of color, right? You have red, orange, yellow, green. And I have this really weird quirk that if the colors aren't balanced, and yes, this is insane, if the colors in my food aren't balanced in a way of, if there's too much of one color but not enough of the other, the food doesn't taste as good to me. I know how insane that sounds, okay? I know how crazy that sounds, but I cannot enjoy my food really. It's kind of OCD if you ask me, but yeah, that's I have a big issue with that. I have a big issue with colors, like if they're in the wrong order anyway. Again, it could be OCD, but it could also be autism related. I don't know. If you're, by the way, if you're wondering why I look a little bit nervous, it's because tomorrow I have my doctor's appointment, and I'm terrified because I know they're probably gonna take blood, and I am terrified of needles. So yeah, I'm not excited at all. I'm nervous. I'm nervous about what they're gonna say. I mean, there is a chance they're not gonna take blood, but they're probably going to, because usually at these type of visits they will. And so that's a little bit scary. But I need to figure out whether or not it's my stomach or my heart or both that's causing me discomfort. Because the last time, I mean, calling a certain hotline because I'm terrified, because I'm in that much pain for like over half an hour, thinking that I'm either having a heart attack or that something else is going on, that was horrifying. So, you know, it is what it is. And yeah, so I'm absolutely not excited at all. I've never had any kind of surgeries in my life. And so one of my biggest concerns right now is how bad is it? And if it is bad, like what will happen? Because I mean, I'm probably just scaring myself at this point, and I know I am. I know it's all mental and whatever. But one of the things that I'm terrified of is that the doctor is either gonna tell me that I'm dying or I need some kind of surgery, and that would be, well, less than optimal. Let's just say that. It would be very uncomfortable. Just leading up to that, I don't think I would be able to go through it. So I will probably use a medical proxy to make sure that I go to the appointment. And then the medical proxy will probably tell me like it's probably just for testing or whatever. And then put me out and do the surgery without me knowing it, because that's the way I prefer it. If I know what's coming, I'm gonna freak out. I know myself. Even if it would save my life, I would probably run away. Yeah, that's just me. But yeah, so tomorrow is my doctor's appointment. I am nervous, but I'll get through it. I have enough to do to distract me anyway. But that doesn't really make it easier. And I think at this point I'm gonna leave it at this for tonight. And I'm sorry I didn't really say what I wanted to say, because this was not supposed to be like this. It was supposed to be an actual video about how it is as a beginner YouTuber, but I'm gonna have to retry that some other time in the future because this video got messy again. So it is what it is. Yeah. Anyways, have a good night. Thank you for the suggestion, and I will see you all tomorrow in my next video. Good night.